Hello traders, this is Thomas from FINEIGHT and welcome to yesterday's trading recap. So I only did one trade throughout the whole day and I was really holding back with the initial sell-off in the market as a whole because it was too aggressive, the stocks were too volatile, and actually we will talk about it in a minute. But first, let's go over the trade I made, and it was in Six Flags Entertainment. And looking at the daily on the left here, yes, I was too concerned that I would be buying an extended stock. However, it was showing a great strength, and also if you notice this little bull flag, so then there was the breakout, and you would expect it to last for some reasonable time. So the 27-28 area is the maximum you could expect after being this extended reasonably. So what made me enter? So first of all, I didn't enter straight up here. That would have been crazy. Uh, so as the S&P started to collapse, I was waiting for some entry, and the entry point came right there at 26 85 or around that area. And then I just entered, and my original target, because my stop loss was 26.35, so my 2 to 1 target uh, was around the highs of the day at 27.70. So it did reach 50 and then consolidated for quite a bit, and this could have been an adding point, which frankly I did not take. Uh, but in retrospect, this was a really beautiful pull to the moving average and a triangle breakout. My main concern was that given the stock didn't want to break the day's highs, it would form some kind of a descending trend line, and having a secondary entry at 27.20, give or take, there would be only about 15 cent uh, playroom for my profit. So I decided not to add. I decided to keep my stop loss uh, not not in the original place. I by that time I raised it to about this level, but I was not gonna tighten the stop loss too much with the add-on here to compensate. So I gave it a little bit more room, and uh, eventually it double hit the 2760. So I decided to get rid of half of my position right before 60 on the second attempt, and then tighten my stop loss to 27.25, which the stock then hit, and uh, continued the day in the range. So, to answer this question written on the screen, was I buying extended stock? To some degree, yes, but having known the risks, I waited for a favorable setup. And also, if we check the S&P, we check the S&P, so it was at that time that the S&P started to recover. It was too extended to the downside, and you will notice that six at that time had already recovered to the previous swing high. So graphically it looks like this. The corresponding swings in the six and in the S&P are those. So you can clearly see the strength of the six stock compared to the S&P. That was one thing I was watching for. And then my reasoning for the earlier exit came again from the relationship with the S&P, whereas S&P broke an additional point, whereas the six failed to place a new significant high or go over the top. So that's why I exited prematurely, and it paid off. So, lastly, we will go through the initial crash, and let's, for example, take a look at the Boeing. Uh, let's say with the 2 minute, and so, for example, the 144.50 would have been an interesting short opportunity. But look, the stock was gapping up, then retraced all the way to previous support, retraced back. This is not ideal trading situation because you never know when the stock's gonna be so exhausted that it will just not move anymore. And also you can see how sharp this recovery then was. So let's say you would have your target at 141, you wouldn't get it, and the next close was 143.50. So those huge fluctuations aren't very favorable. uh, Another stock that comes to mind, which was actually gapping down and would have possibly been a good idea, was Marna. But again, look at the daily of Marna. Stock has been down the fourth day, and that was a concern. And looking at the whole day yesterday, it actually closed positive. So it went all the way down to 46 and recovered to 52, which is incredible. And actually, looking at it daily, it's not anything unusual after this big of a drop. So there are lots of nuances in the trading, and those were just a few of those which led me to stay out of the initial sell-off, uh, potentially saving money, potentially missing profits. Who knows? In retrospect, I did one trade. It was a nice profit, so happy with the result. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.